Sweden is an awesome country to study in, with world-class universities, a strong student culture, and some really promising career opportunities after studies. In this video, I want to share my own experience of studying in Sweden and everything that comes with it, the good, the challenging, and the things no one really tells you beforehand. Just for a bit of context, I moved to Sweden in 2018 to do my master's at Lund University, and after graduating, I got a job and have been living here ever since. I know how confusing it can feel when you first arrive in Sweden as an international student, trying to figure out your studies, the system, and student life in general. So in this video, I'll walk you through what it's really like to study in Sweden so you can feel more prepared before you arrive, or if you're already here, hopefully help you settle in and actually enjoy your student life. Let's get into it. Studying in Sweden has honestly been one of the best experiences of my life. I made some great memories and friends along the way, and it really taught me to appreciate the simple things about life, like taking a walk in the park, visiting museums, or just chilling at each other's student apartments. But studying in Sweden also challenged me in ways I never imagined. And most importantly, it set me up for my career. Today I work in marketing, and my master's program played a big role in getting me there. There are a lot of perks and a few surprises that come with studying in Sweden. And one of the biggest surprises for me was referring to professors by their first names. That was really strange for me at first. I come from a country where you would never call a professor by their first name. You always use their title and surname. So if a professor's name is John Doe, you'd call them Professor Doe, never just John. But Sweden is completely different. Here you call your professors by their first names, and their titles are almost never used. Honestly, it felt very awkward for me at the beginning, and it took some time to get used to it. But eventually I did. So if you're coming to study in Sweden, this is something you should know. Using academic titles isn't really the norm here. First names are preferred, and this is so because the Swedish society is built on the idea that everyone is equal, regardless of job title or status. Using first names helps remove unnecessary hierarchy and creates a sense of mutual respect rather than distance. Calling a professor Anna instead of Professor Anderson doesn't mean there's less respect. It simply means everyone is treated as equal. One of the must-haves as an international student in Sweden is the student card. In Sweden, the student card is quite powerful, and it gives you all the discounts you can think of. The card is called Mecenat. If you're a registered student, you automatically qualify for it. With Mecenat, you get discounts on almost everything you can think of: public transportation, cafes and restaurants, clothing, electronics, gym memberships, literally everything. For example, if you're studying in Skåne, you get student discounts on Skånetrafiken tickets, which can save you a lot of money over time. So if you're not using your Mecenat card, you're really missing out. It can save you a lot of money as a student. You can get the card both as a physical card and a digital one, but personally, I'd recommend the digital version. It's just easier to have it on your phone, and it comes in handy when you need to show it quickly for verification or discounts. Having a part-time job as an international student in Sweden is actually very common. For a lot of students, it's a practical way to support themselves while studying. One important thing to know is that in Sweden, there's no official limit on how many hours international students can work. That said, your studies should always come first. Now, I want to be very honest here. Don't arrive in Sweden thinking, I'll just get a part-time job immediately, and that's how I'll survive. It can take time to find a job, especially at the beginning. So it's really important to have another source of funding to support yourself, and then use a part-time job to supplement that income. A lot of students start with flexible jobs that don't require Swedish language skills. Two very common options are newspaper delivery and food delivery. When it comes to newspaper delivery, it's probably one of the most popular student jobs in Sweden. It's flexible, usually very early in the morning, and that means the rest of your day is free for classes and studying. Some companies that often hire students include NIM Distribution, Svensk Direct Reklam, and Early Bird. Pay usually ranges between 130 to 160 Swedish kronor per hour, depending on the company, location, and whether you're working early mornings, nights, or weekends. But let me be honest with you. Newspaper delivery is not easy, especially in winter. I tried it once and honestly felt very sorry for myself. It's fine in summer, but in winter it's freezing. Your fingers, your toes, everything feels numb. If you do go for it, investing in proper winter clothing makes a huge difference. Another popular option is food delivery. You can find part-time work with companies like Foodora, Wolt, and Uber Eats. Now, if you're interested in internships or more student-related roles, which I highly recommend, especially if you plan to stay in Sweden after graduation like I did, there are some great platforms to check out. Academic work is excellent for part-time jobs and internships. LinkedIn works really well in Sweden, and the Hub is great if you're interested in startups and internships. Also, don't forget university career portals and student nations. They're often overlooked, but they're actually very good places to find student-friendly opportunities too. What I'd really encourage you to do is to have a plan before choosing a part-time job, especially if you want to stay in Sweden after your studies. That way you don't end up in a situation where the experience you've gained has nothing to do with the kind of job you'll be applying for after graduation. One thing I genuinely like about studying in Sweden is the quality of education. Swedish universities are among the best in the world, and what I find really impressive is that the quality is consistent. Whether you study in a big city or a smaller town, the standard of education is still very high. Sweden is also home to some top-ranked universities. For example, Lund University, which is my alma mater, is consistently ranked among the top 100 universities in the world. That already tells you a lot about the level of education you're getting here. Now, when it comes to the grading system and exams, this is where things can feel a bit confusing at first, especially if you're not used to this style of studying. In Sweden, exams are often not the traditional sit-down exams with invigilators. Those do exist, but they're actually quite rare. Most of the time, you're graded based on assignments and research papers. You'll work on assignments either individually or in groups, submit them, and that's what your final grade is based on. Because of this, plagiarism is taken very seriously. You're expected to do your own work, think critically, and write independently. Cutting corners here can get you into serious trouble, so it's important to really put in the work yourself. Research papers are usually submitted at the end of a course, and that period can be very intense. Libraries are packed, coffee consumption goes through the roof, and you can literally see the stress on everyone's faces. But once the paper is submitted, things calm down again, and life slowly returns to normal. Grades are typically given from A to F, with E being a pass. If you fail a course and need to retake it, that's where things can become challenging. While you're preparing to retake that paper, a new course has already started, and balancing both at the same time can be really tough. So my advice is, try your best to pass the first time, even if it's just an E, and if you do fail, make sure you have a clear and structured plan to retake the course without it affecting your current one. Another important thing to understand about studying in Sweden is that it requires a lot of independence. No one is going to force you to attend lectures. That choice is yours to make every single day. But if you keep skipping classes, trust me, the assignments and exams will eventually catch up with you. If you're studying in Sweden or planning to study here, there are two skills you really need: time management and self-paced learning. Whether it's assignments or group projects, you're expected to manage your time and get things done without constant supervision. In Sweden, a professor's job is to teach, not to chase you or closely monitor your progress. That responsibility is on you. If you need help, it's up to you to reach out to your professor or department. You really have to hold yourself accountable if you want to succeed as a student here. When it comes to your career, Sweden actually offers a lot of opportunities once you're done with school. There are many international companies here, especially in Stockholm and other major cities like Gothenburg and Malmö. That said, I want to be very honest with you. Finding a permanent job in Sweden after your master's can be challenging. Not impossible, but it does take patience and resilience. I did it, and I genuinely believe you can too. For non-EU citizens like myself, there's also a time factor involved. After graduation, you have a limited period to find a job and get an employer to apply for your work permit. If that doesn't happen within that time frame, you'll have to leave Sweden. Because of this, it's really important to start planning your exit early, honestly from day one, if your goal is to stay and work in Sweden after studies. That means thinking ahead about your thesis. Is there a company or organization you'd like to work with on your thesis? If yes, start reaching out early. You should also research your career options and the industry you want to work in. Does the role require Swedish? If so, register for Swedish lessons as soon as you can. Does it require a specific certification? Then start looking into that early. Does it require experience? Then internships should be on your radar. I personally started planning my exit strategy from day one of my master's program, and that helped me a lot. And if you're an international student watching this and there's a specific topic you'd like me to cover, or any questions you have about studying or living in Sweden, feel free to drop them in the comments. I'll gladly answer and help make your journey a bit easier. Now moving on, one of the really great things about studying in Sweden is the international community. A single class can honestly feel like a mini UN summit. You'll find people from almost every continent in one room. That makes class discussions incredibly interesting because everyone brings different perspectives shaped by their home countries and cultures. And as students, there's this genuine sense of connection that makes adapting to a new country much easier. Whether it's traveling together around Europe, going to parties at the student nations, or, if you're studying in Lund, celebrating Valborg on April 30th, where students gather for picnics, music, drinks, and a lot of socializing at Stadsparken. If you're an international student, definitely keep an eye out for this one. These are the kinds of experiences that make studying in Sweden really special. When it comes to language, Sweden is actually one of the easiest countries to live in as an international student. Almost everyone speaks English, so communication generally isn't a problem. Another big plus is that most master's programs in Sweden are taught entirely in English, which makes studying here much more accessible for international students. Bachelor's programs, on the other hand, are mostly taught in Swedish. That said, I'd still strongly recommend trying to pick up some basic Swedish if you can. Even though people speak English, the official and formal language is Swedish. This means things like official letters, emails, forms, and sometimes product labels will usually be in Swedish. So you might find yourself needing to translate a letter, check ingredients at the grocery store, or understand some information online. For that reason, always keep Google Translate handy on your phone. It should be your best friend. You can absolutely live and study in Sweden with just English, but learning a bit of Swedish will make daily life easier and help you feel more settled over time. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, winter in Sweden. Swedish winters are dark, cold, and often wet. There's very little sunlight, and because of that, a lot of people struggle with low energy and low vitamin D levels. So honestly, one piece of advice right away, go to the pharmacy and get some vitamin D. You'll thank yourself later. One funny thing about winter in Sweden is this. The moment the sun comes out, especially on a weekend, everyone suddenly rushes outside. It's almost like magic. You can literally see people's moods change just because the sun showed up for a few minutes. There's a saying in Sweden that goes, "There's no bad weather, only bad clothing." And that's very true here. Layering is key during winter. If you dress properly, winter becomes much more manageable. You can get good and affordable winter clothing from stores like Lager 157, Zalando, and Bootslet, both in-store and online. One thing I've learned over the years that has saved me a lot of money is buying winter clothes during summer. That's when stores are trying to clear out their winter stock, so you can find really good deals, especially online. During winter, it's also important to make your space cozy. Add some lights to your student accommodation, light a few candles, make your room feel warm and comfortable. Go out for walks, visit malls, do some window shopping, or just watch a movie at home with popcorn. If you have friends, even better, do things together. Simple stuff like potlucks where everyone cooks food from their home country, sitting together, eating, talking, and just having a good time. Staying busy during winter really helps prevent that feeling of sadness or isolation. And yeah, overall, Sweden is a great place to study. It's safe, well-structured, and easy to get around. Things generally work the way they're supposed to, which makes life as a student much easier. What I personally experienced as a student is that Sweden does a really good job of combining academics with a strong social and cultural life, and that balance makes studying here very rewarding. One thing you should know, though, most master's programs in Sweden are quite theoretical. There's a lot of reading, writing, and writing scientific papers. That can be challenging, especially if you prefer very practical, hands-on learning, so it's definitely something to keep in mind before you move. So yeah, that's my experience of studying in Sweden in a nutshell. If you're an international student or planning to become one, I genuinely wish you all the best on your journey. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, feel free to like and subscribe and stick around for more real conversations about Sweden. The good, the bad, and the downright frustrating. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.